James Franklin. James Franklin got fired at Penn State. What were your initial thoughts about that, Will, when James Franklin got fired?
Bro, I knew he was. I didn't. Like, if you were at all, like, I was following Landon Tangwall over this whole collapse. And, like, the vibes were so bad that, I mean, it kind of felt like it was the right move. But, I mean, it sucked. I mean, listen, James Franklin, he says some snarky stuff. But it does stink. I mean, it stinks. He went out sad. Like, he went out sad losing those last 3 games.
Yeah, and you could tell in his post-game presser for that Northwestern game that he knew that he was getting fired. It was very obvious that he knew that he was done. But my about James Franklin, and I've said this now for 2 straight days on social media, and I've got people outraged about it. I think Penn State messed up firing James Franklin. I do. And I understand Penn State fans, they want to be national title contenders, which they literally were a game away from it last year. But that being said, they want to be national title contenders. They want to be among the elite in college football. They want to be up there with Ohio State. They want to be up there with Alabama. I get that. And I think they can, even though their program has limitations, I think they can. But they feel James Franklin was not going to get it done, and this season is exemplary of that. But James Franklin won over 70% of his games, which is what Bo Pelini did at Nebraska and got fired. And look at the candidates list for who might succeed James Franklin at Penn State. And outside of Curt Cignetti, who's better than James Franklin?
I'll come at you with the other perspective. So, with all the NIL that like Penn State has, I mean, Penn State, as long as they don't make a horrible hire, I mean, I think they'll be fine. I mean, the coach just needs to get the coordinators right. I mean, they swung and missed with Knowles. He didn't fit their defense. Andy Kolomnicki, like, did not fit Aller. Now, if they would have played Berbula instead of Aller, I think it would have been a better fit in terms of quarterback to coordinator fit. So I think they would be doing better then. But, yeah, like, Knowles just didn't work for them, and Kolomnicki didn't work for them. And they're like, we paid all this money for the players and for Knowles, like, they had to fire him.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
So, I mean, I think
I'm not
who they should get called. Yeah. I think Kenny Dillingham have to call Kenny Dillingham. Matt Campbell have to call Matt Campbell. I think you gotta call you gotta call the obvious no's. Like Cignetti is obviously gonna be a no. Freeman's gonna be a no. Lang's gonna be a no. They'll probably call those guys too.
Gonna be a no. That makes me feel really good, Will, for that to come out of your mouth. That makes me feel really good because everybody out, RG3 and a lot of other big time media personalities, some that I really even respect, are trying to say that Curt Cignetti is going to go to Penn State. I don't think so. Because as other people are saying online, Curt Cignetti has already reached the mountaintop. And I know if Caden was here, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't beat Ohio State or won a national title. That does not necessarily mean that you haven't reached the mountaintop. When it comes to IU, yes, he has. And I think that at Indiana, if he stays at Indiana for 8 more years, he is going to be a guy that has a statue outside the building. The field will be named after him. He will have the Bill Snyder-like legacy at Indiana. Indiana is one of the last programs in college football that has never had a coach worthy of a legacy. Bill Mallory is Indiana's legacy, and he had a losing record. So my thing is, when you got the Bill Snyders and the Barry Alvarezes, these men that built these dead programs and made them something, I think that Cignetti wants to have that type of legacy. And he's going to do that at IU. He's not going to do that at Penn State. He'll never be Paterno there, probably, in their eyes. He's not even going to have enough time to do what Paterno did at Penn State, which I know Paterno's, they hate him now, that allegation stuff. You get the point, the success. Or Florida with the Myers and the Spurriers and stuff. I just don't think that Cignetti's that type of guy. He loves being at IU and the attention that he's garnered being at this garbage program, and he made him good. Penn State, man, you lose a couple games, they're going to call for his head. If Indiana loses this week, no one's calling for Cignetti's head. Now, obviously, people be upset because, like, what the heck? But they're not going to be like, oh, my gosh, he needs to be fired. My thing is that I'm with you that they need to go in another direction. Matt Rule makes no sense to me either, because Matt Rule has a terrible record in top games, which is exactly the reason they got rid of Franklin. And I would not go with Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule's just fine at Nebraska. Urban Meyer is not going to take the job. I don't think Urban Meyer is going to. Why would he go to Penn State, an inferior program, to Ohio State? I don't see that. I don't. I mean, I think Dillingham's a possibility, but I don't think it's likely that he leaves Arizona State for that. I don't even know if they'd call him. Dan Mullen.
You know who I think would be a home run? I think this could be a high risk, high reward hire. Get Joe Brady from the Bills, who was at Penn State.
Joe Brady is actually the current
assistant
favorite, Will, according to the odds. If you look at the Vegas odds right now, Joe Brady's the favorite for the job. So you're not off key at all. You were not.
I think he would be the best. I think he would be the best hire.
John Gruden.
Yeah. I think he would have the highest upside.
John Gruden.
Gruden does want to come back, man. He says he does want to coach big time college football, though. Gruden has said that.
I don't think they're not hiring John Gruden. I don't see that at all. But yeah, to me, I don't think a lot of the big names are any better than what they just had. I mean, you have to be for sure, like, knowing that your coach needs to go, like that he's just bad. And I just, to me, don't know if not Brian Kelly, Austin. No. But I think that they possibly made a mistake. I will be shocked if they're not.
Okay, I have to say, I saw. Okay, I didn't watch the full. But I did see an LSU YouTuber talking about, like, hey, is there any way they can take Brian Kelly off our hands? Like, they're starting to get done with Kelly, man. It's hilarious.
But that's the thing. Penn State's not going to hire a guy that a team wants to fire, right? They're not going to do that. No, that's funny though. It's great that LSU fans are done with Brian Kelly. My thing is, who they going to get? These teams want to fire all these coaches, but then they have no replacement. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Bo Pelini is the poster child for not firing a guy who's winning well. You know what I mean? Like, same with Malzahn at Auburn. Like, you fire coaches that are winning. You hire someone who's way worse. Manny Diaz actually isn't impossible. That could happen, but I just think that they're gonna look at the Miami tenure, the stint that he had, and probably stay away from that. But I gotta read these super chats though. We got Godfather of the SEC coming with a $9.99 super chat. Only Talk Sports. That's it. Appreciate it, Godfather. Appreciate the super chat. We got Jackson. 1 down, 4 to go. Here's Only Talk Sport going live. 4 more of these still super chat. He'll go live again this week. Appreciate that, Jackson. Read this comment too about Will has the OG look going on. Rest in peace to the beard era. It's not completely gone. But yeah. Will looking like his old self again. There we go, right? But yeah, Mullen is not happening, Bean. All I'm saying is I think Penn State's just very weary of what they've just done. Very weary. Because you don't want to be Nebraska 2.0. They better make sure this next hire is legit, because if not, they might just screw it up big time. Because I'm not impressed with a lot of names on the list. If Joe Brady, who Will mention, is your favorite, that's high risk. It could be a high ceiling, low floor type of situation. It could either boom or bust. We have no idea if that works. That's not a proven commodity there, right? Cignetti's your best bet, and I think they've got a 0% chance of that happening. I would be shocked if Penn State actually landed Curt Cignetti, because to me, Indiana can match whatever Penn State wants to pay him, for one. The only advantage Penn State has is a better history, better fan base, I guess, because they got more fans, better recruiting ground. Indiana's not a bad recruiting ground. And anyway, recruiting's national now. Everyone's getting players from all over the country, so that doesn't necessarily matter either. And again, Cignetti is going to build a legacy at IU. He's not going to have that at Penn State, no matter what he does, short of winning multiple national titles. So to me, I think that he would make the most sense for him to stay at IU, but that's their best hire that they could make. If they do not get Cignetti, which again, I don't think is going to happen, I'm almost certain that their next hire is going to be worse than James Franklin. And if that's the case, just wait. Just wait to how much they're going to complain and cry and whine about how, oh my gosh, we were better under Franklin. Well, yeah, that's why you should have kept Franklin. He made a couple errors, hiring Knowles and keeping Aller, but those were fixable. Next year, get another quarterback. Get rid of Knowles. Those were fixable problems. But instead, you're going to fire him, and now you just got to hope and pray that your next hire doesn't suck, because if it does, Penn State's screwed. Big time. And again, I could be wrong. Put my foot in my mouth, whatever. Maybe the next hire taking multiple national titles. We'll never know. I'm just saying, be cautious, Penn State. You might have just messed up. Bean, he lived there for a few years. He's a West Virginia man. His whole life he lived in West Virginia. Whole life, practically.
I mean, he was. Yeah, I mean, West Virginia hates Penn State.
So he's not a Pennsylvania guy. Okay. He's not a Pennsylvania guy. I mean, Pittsburgh anyway don't like Penn State. Yeah, and again, to Jackson's point, Penn State, they don't even play their rival. They're rivalless because of their own doing. So good for them. I don't know. I just think State was stupid to fire James Franklin when they did. If we had a couple more years of him sucking,
I feel like, yeah.
We're losing recruits.
I feel like they aren't going to get. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping we can land their running back. That was the top running back.
Do you think that Penn State's next coach will be better than James Franklin? I just want to ask you that. Do you think that their next coach will be better than James Franklin? Just doesn't matter who it is. Do you think they'll be better?
Probably not, but I mean, I feel like Brady, if they could get Brady or they could get Cignetti, I feel like those are the two. I think they just want to beat Ohio State. They just want to do whatever they can to get over that hump. And they're just sick of losing to Ohio State and the other top team. So they're thinking, hey, if we get Brady, like, they'll give us a higher ceiling and a chance to beat Ohio State and actually win the big games.
Floor. It's not a proven hire. I mean, again, it could work. And that's why I'm saying I could put my foot in my mouth and be completely wrong, and Penn State is better after Franklin, whoever they. I just think it's most likely that they're not. Again, James Franklin is one of the winningest coaches of the last 5 seasons. He's up there with Kirby. He's up there with DeBoer. He's up there with Ryan Day. He's like the 4th winningest coach in the last 5 seasons. You're not going to get a guy most likely that's going to do better than that. And like I said, when you start to lose more, your expectations tank, man. Look at Nebraska. They're excited right now that they're ranked. It's funny to me about how trash IU is. Nebraska's just happy to be ranked. Wow. It's insane. I thought Nebraska was a national title program. No, it's after 20 years of failure, or really 10. When they fired Pelini, they've been really bad the last 10. They're just they're not hiring Jim Knowles. No chance. Their expectations have gone on the floor. Penn State right now, they're a national title team expectation caliber. But a few years of being garbage, and that goes in the floor. So we'll see. Again, we'll see. I just think they potentially made a big mistake, and only time is going to tell whether they did or not. And it all depends on their next hire. But I think they made a big mistake firing James Franklin. Big mistake firing James Franklin. I just don't think that their next hire is going to be better. But again, we'll see.